Maddie confronts Gary, who's repossessing her car due to unpaid property taxes. They argue about their past relationship, with Gary feeling ghosted after their 3-month fling. Gary refuses to help Maddie, despite her pleas. Their argument escalates with personal insults as Maddie asks for a ride to her bartending job at the Claw. Gary visits Maddie at her workplace, acting indecisive about his order. The tension between them continues as Maddie struggles with her financial situation. Maddie discusses her predicament with a friend. She's at risk of losing her mother's house due to unpaid taxes and needs her car for income as an Uber driver. At work, Maddie has a confrontation with an entitled customer. Her boss reprimands her, explaining these summer visitors keep the business afloat despite driving up local taxes. Maddie and friends discuss solutions to her financial problems. They discover an unusual advertisement from parents seeking someone to date their shy son in exchange for a car. Friends debate whether Maddie should pursue the car for dating arrangement. Despite reservations, Maddie considers it as the fastest way to save her house. Maddie meets with the parents, Allison and Laird, at their home. They awkwardly mistake her for a sex worker before discussing their proposition. Despite being older than requested, Maddie convinces the parents she's perfect for their son Percy, positioning herself as mature enough to handle the situation with sensitivity. The parents explain their concerns about Percy's social isolation before college. They show Maddie his photo and clarify they want her to genuinely date him, not just pretend. The arrangement is finalized. Maddie will date Percy without him knowing about the deal. The parents instruct her to meet him at the animal shelter where he volunteers. Maddie arrives at the animal shelter and awkwardly introduces herself to Percy, pretending to be interested in adopting a dog to initiate their first interaction. A visitor approaches someone at what appears to be an animal shelter, asking about adopting a dog. They're introduced to Milo, a former police dog with a cocaine addiction. The shelter worker begins asking adoption screening questions. The visitor, Maddie, becomes flirtatious and makes the worker uncomfortable during the interview process. Maddie convinces the worker to leave early. She offers a ride despite the worker's reluctance. The worker tries to decline but eventually agrees. Maddie takes a detour, making the worker nervous. She confiscates their phone. When they arrive at an unknown location, the worker maces Maddie. After the macing incident, they awkwardly reconcile. Maddie admits finding the worker attractive, and they agree to go on a proper date the next day. Maddie discusses her date plans with someone else, revealing the worker is a young man named Percy who's headed to Princeton. Percy and Maddie meet for their date at a bar. Despite Percy being underage, Maddie orders alcoholic drinks for both of them. They encounter Travis, Maddie's ex, who boasts about his new wife. The interaction reveals Maddie's pattern of disappearing from relationships. Maddie suggests they leave the bar. They head to a closed beach, where she proposes skinny dipping, despite Percy's concerns about rules and safety. While swimming, teenagers steal their clothes. Maddie confronts the thieves aggressively, retrieving their belongings through intimidation or violence. Percy is disturbed by Maddie's behavior during the confrontation. He expresses concern that something is wrong with her, while she defends her actions as necessary. A tense encounter unfolds between two people. One person rejects the other's sexual advances, stating they don't have sex with strangers. The rejected party becomes angry and leaves. The situation escalates when one person demands their phone back. They jump on the car hood while the other drives recklessly, eventually stopping after nearly getting caught by police. The mood shifts as they share an awkward moment dancing together. Despite attempts to become intimate, one develops an embarrassing rash from anxiety. The host offers cream for the rash and shares an embarrassing Halloween story to ease tension. They begin opening up about personal struggles. One reveals they've lived in their house their whole life, briefly left at 18 but returned when their mother got sick. The other shares painful school bullying experiences. They discuss someone named Jody, an old nanny. Despite not having sex, they agree to spend the next day together with a promise of intimacy later. The pair enjoys activities together, growing closer. They exchange gifts, including a finger trap, symbolizing their connection. One reveals they missed prom because their father, who had an affair resulting in their birth, returned their letter unopened. They stayed home crying instead. After sharing a kiss, they meet Jody at a lighthouse. Tension emerges between Jody and one of them, with accusations about intentions toward the other. One privately admits they haven't had sex yet because the other needs an emotional connection first. A real estate broker appears, warning about a lien on the house. They create their own prom experience at dinner. One gives the other a flower from their garden, and they discuss why they both missed their actual proms. One is persuaded to play piano at the restaurant. They perform an impressive rendition of Man-Eater that draws applause. An acquaintance interrupts, mentioning they and one of them will both attend Princeton. The encounter creates an awkward moment that highlights their age difference. At a social gathering, someone invites the protagonists to a Princeton party. Despite initial reluctance, this invitation becomes significant later. Tension arises between characters discussing Princeton, with one person expressing discomfort about maintaining a long-distance relationship when college begins. The conversation deteriorates, leading to a request to leave. Both parties claim they're just being realistic about their relationship's future. One character begins drinking, justifying it as preparation for college. They decide to attend the Princeton party mentioned earlier. At the party, uncomfortable interactions occur with other guests while searching for someone named Percy. The search for Percy becomes more urgent, culminating in finding him in a compromising situation that leads to confrontation. Parents appear at the party, creating further tension and forcing the protagonists to leave abruptly after a physical altercation. In a private moment, Percy and Maddie share an intimate conversation. Percy expresses love, but Maddie suggests waiting since he's intoxicated. Later, Percy tells his father he won't attend Princeton to stay with Maddie, causing parental concern. A phone call reveals a deal between Maddie and Percy's parents involving a car and convincing Percy to attend college. An awkward dinner scene unfolds with Percy, Maddie, and Percy's parents, where Percy begins revealing uncomfortable truths. Someone arrives with tools to damage Maddie's car in retaliation for perceived betrayal, suggesting Percy discovered the arrangement. Percy and Maddie have a tense confrontation in private, leading to an uncomfortable, intimate encounter. Percy reveals he destroyed Maddie's car and questions whether their relationship was ever genuine. Maddie admits she was trying to save her house. The confrontation escalates into a heated argument about privilege, money, and personal struggles, revealing deeper issues between them. Percy confronts his parents about a car they've been hiding from him. Gary insists the car is functional despite its appearance, revealing they've been secretly helping Percy throughout his life. Percy asserts his independence, demanding his parents stop tracking him and let him succeed or fail on his own. He's upset about their interference, including possibly dealing with a bully. Kelly appears with Percy's photo and insists he get into her car, despite his reluctance. The scene shifts to friends celebrating the end of summer. Sarah announces she's moving to Florida with Jim because they can't afford to stay local with a baby on the way. Maddie is shocked by their decision to leave. Sarah questions Maddie's happiness and life choices. Maddie defends her decision to stay, claiming she's happy despite Sarah's doubts. Their conversation grows tense. An awkward interaction with a finger trap leads to a moment of connection. The person reveals they live in Battery Park, suggesting a possible relationship development. Maddie calls Doug Con Realty to sell her house, but mentions there's a catch to the deal. Later, someone tries to contact a man who won't return calls. At a Princeton mixer, Maddie confronts Percy, who's ignoring her. She jumps on his car hood as he drives, leading to a dangerous situation that ends in a crash. After the accident, Percy and Maddie reconcile. She reveals she's fixed the Buick, and they joke about Percy's virginity. Their friendship deepens despite past deceptions. Maddie reveals she's sold her house and is moving to California. They share a tender moment, acknowledging they'll both be okay despite the changes ahead. Maddie surprises friends by selling them her house at a reasonable price instead of to a wealthy buyer. This allows them to stay in town as they wanted. Emotional goodbyes as Maddie prepares to leave. Her friends become empty nesters, promising to see each other at Thanksgiving despite the distance. Maddie appears as Percy's Uber driver to Princeton. She teases him about having a new boyfriend, showing their friendship will continue despite their separate journeys ahead.
Let's take